is Robert Horn, and I teach language arts at Helen Fort Middle School, and I'm here to discuss the restructuring plan as well. American writer Alvin Toffler wrote that future shock is the shattering stress and disorientation that we induce in individuals by subjecting them to too much change in too short a time. Research from the Olin School of Business at Washington University in St. Louis says that too much change leads to overworked, cynical, and slapdash employees. When I attended the first restructuring committee meeting in January, I informed the committee that because Helen Fort had been labeled a failing school, the teachers and staff have been bombarded with a plethora of new initiatives, programs, and trainings in the name of accountability. I explained that the teachers have been beleaguered by this onslaught of new initiatives, many of which have been launched without proper training, adequate funding, or thoughtful development, and some of which were at cross purposes with each other. I implored the committee to choose new initiatives wisely, to assure that teachers believe in the programs and can take ownership of them to ensure their success, to allow time for proper training and development, and to limit the number of new initiatives so as not to overwhelm and demoralize the overworked faculty that would be compelled to implement them. A month later, at the second public restructuring meeting in February, a PowerPoint was presented to the public introducing 69 new initiatives. The teachers present were completely discouraged and could smell impending failure in the air. We railed against the madness of excessive change, and at the next committee meeting, the 69 initiatives were pared down to 15, not nearly as insane, but still likely as improbable to implement successfully. I thought by the end of this process, this list would be reduced to no more than 3 or 4 manageable options that we could all agree would bring lasting improvements to our educational programs at the Fort. As we now know, this is not the case. What is being proposed in the name of improving Helen Fort Middle School is, I believe, a blueprint for failure. Consider the provisions of this blueprint for failure. 15 new initiatives, all of which, taken individually, have merit, but taken altogether simultaneously will create a muddled mess of mediocrity. Change everything now. Change the calendar. Change the schedule. Start school uniforms. Ignore the research that says adolescents learn better later in the morning. Make the adolescents in the failing school come in earlier. Let the bus garage dictate major academic decisions in the district. Without waiting to assess the success of these changes, let's combine Helen Fort and Newcomb into one middle school complex with a road cutting through it and no meaningful connections. Have Spirit Week 2 weeks before the test instead of after the test. Whip the kids into a frenzy by having them parade around in silly clothes while trying to focus on writing effective, persuasive essays. Take a potential test preparation day and use it for fun and games in the gym instead. Launch the middle stage accreditation process in the middle of restructuring and ask test prep. Sprinkle in a few early dismissal days for surveys to further reduce test preparation time. We can only speculate about why the powers that be are so stubbornly pursuing this path to ruin. What I can tell you with certainty is that rumors of failure at Helen Fort are greatly exaggerated. Our 8th grade general ed population achieved 88% proficiency on last year's ASK assessment, an outstanding achievement. And we achieved successes in academic growth of our students from the end of 6th grade to the end of 8th grade that are not measured by the inadequate and deeply flawed legislation of No Child Left Behind and the ASK assessment. What I can tell you with certainty is that when you have a leaky faucet in the kitchen, you don't pulverize the granite countertops, jackhammer the ceramic tiles, and rip out the stainless steel appliances. You fix the faucet, you don't destroy the kitchen. What I can tell you with certainty is that those who really know what's going on in Helen Fort know that it's got one of the most talented, caring, dedicated faculty and staff you'll ever meet. People who routinely come into work early, leave late, and work nights and weekends at home. People who give up their lunch or prep time to give needy students one-on-one tutoring or assistance they can't always provide in the regular classroom setting. And people who, despite being beaten up and beaten down every which way, every single day, by every corrupt political opportunist, media hack, and clueless legislator, continue to come to work and do their jobs proudly, diligently, and professionally, despite the fact that we haven't even been offered a fair contract since last June by this Board of Education. I implore the powers that be to consider very deeply before signing on for more change for the sake of change, the impact this blueprint for failure will have on our students, our staff, and the reputation of our school district. Thank you for your time.